Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathen. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. All right, and this channel was for the scattered Israelites that are scattered to the four corners of the earth, primarily the Negro, Latino, Native American, and then our scattered brethren that are scattered among the other nations that look like those other nations. This is not a black thing. That is a false narrative that is pushed forth by JOOs and other Edomites. All right, we're focusing on two things. This book by Marcus Eli Ravitch, well, not a book, but it was actually an article that was a 1928 article in Century Magazine, and then the council culture on Candace Owens. All right, and I really dislike Candace Owens. But one thing that I can actually say, I had to agree with the guy in this We Woke thing, because I don't really agree with them on a lot of things too. But she stood her ground against this wickedness, against this falsehood. All right, these made up scenarios. All right, she stood her ground against them. And like it says, it's written by a Jewish author, originally published in a Century magazine. In January 1928, this article asserts that if whites understood the depths of which the Jews control our countries, their institutions of power, and the way in which they wield that power in an effort to destroy our interests, we would rise up and eradicate them immediately. And this was written by this man, all right, inside of this literature, all right? So without any further ado, we're going to go to, and I'm going to read from the book. I actually am holding that book. I have that book in my hand right now. Salakia. I actually have that book in my hand. So I'm going to read from this book. All right. And then I'm going to play about 10 minutes of that We Woke video. All right. But this is on... I'm on page 17. It says, if you really are serious when you talk about Jewish plots, may I not direct your attention to one worth talking about? What use is it wasting words on alleged control of your public opinion by Jewish financiers, newspapers, owners, movies, magnates, which you might as well justify accuse us of the proved control of your whole civilization by the Jewish Gospels? And this question mark, something that the men here of the Great Millstone and many other Israelites speak about often. You have not begun to appreciate the real depth of our guilt. We are intruders, we are disturbers, we are subverters. We have taken your natural world, your ideals, your destiny, and played havoc on them. We have been at the bottom not merely of the latest great war, but nearly all your wars. Not only of the Russian, but of every other major revolution in your history. We have brought discord and confusion and frustration into your personal and public life. We are still, and this is a message from this man to other white people, to other Edomites. The scripture said that Amalek would be the first of the nations. Is the first of the nations, and they truly are. All right, and these Edomites have been fighting literally since Alexander died. When soon as moment Alexander died, the four generals went to war, his four men. And you can find that history in the book of Maccabees. They went to war with one another. And I forget which one of the generals was trying to keep Alexander's ways, because Alexander divided Asia, Africa, and Asia among them. All right, the known world, you know. And that wasn't good enough for them because they killed the one that was trying to keep Alexander's ways, and then the other three, and then, well, someone took, yeah, there was a fourth one that stepped in. I always forget the fourth one's, or the fifth one's name, so to speak, who stepped in after they killed the one. But you had Seleucus, Ptolemy, and Cassander, well, all basically warring with one another. They all put crowns upon themselves and called themselves kings. And they still, and they've been fighting and warring with each other ever since. And then fighting and warring with people of color as well, ever since. That's just the nature of Edom. Okay? But it says, no one can tell you how long we shall go on doing it. Look back a little and see what has happened. 1900 years ago, you were an innocent, carefree, pagan race. You worship countless gods and goddesses, and a lot of that is true when it comes to dealing with Edomites and the heathens too. The spirits of the air, the running streams, and the woodlands, you took unblushing pride in your glory of your naked bodies. Basically, when you were the Greeks, especially when you were claiming, when you were named still in the Greeks culture, because the actual Greeks were melanated people. You carved images of your gods and tantalizing human figure. You delighted in combats of the field and the arena and battleground, war and slavery with fixed institutions in your systems. So this is directly at the white race by the Amalekites, who are also of the white race, who are at the top, who are the name stealers, the small hatters, who refer to themselves as the JOOs, right? Disporting yourselves on the hillsides and in the valleys of the great outdoors, you took speculating on the wonder of mystery of life and laid the foundations of natural science and philosophy. Yours was a noble, sensual culture unearthed by pricking the social conscience of any sentimental questions about human quality. Who knows, the great glorious destinies might have been yours if we had left you alone. Now, all right. So, basically, Amalek has hauled the temporal blessings of Isaac to himself from the rest of his brethren, the Edomites. All right. Okay, because you got to understand, there is no history of Esau having dominion over the Israelites and the world in ancient times outside of the Bible. There isn't. You have to understand that and put that into, and you have to put that into understanding. All right. So there's no way that these people could be the Israelites. We're in the end of days, and the end of days clearly tell you that Amalek is the first of the nations, and the Lord would have war with them from generation to generation. So who you think started the lie that Amalek was done away with? Okay. Who do you think started that lie? Okay, the admittance to the slave trade too, and so who did that? You were their property. And you also have to remember that Isaiah 63, 1 and 5 tells you that Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Yeshua, is Yahawashi, because they pretty much tell you, that these people that's on the screen added the vowel points to Hebrew, so they don't speak actual Hebrew. They speak a German-based language, which was based within Yiddish, Slavic, and written with Hebrew characters, and not even the actual Hebrew characters, but the Assyrian characters. And the house of Judah didn't use the Assyrian script. As a matter of fact, that very script that they use is condemnation to them. It's a witness against them, because the house of Judah used the ancient Paleo Hebrew, or the Phoenician form of Hebrew. All right, they never use that Hebrew that they write in today. When you see Israeli television commercials and news and publications and things, the house of Judah never used that. They weren't in the Assyrian captivity. The northern kingdom of Israel was, and the northern kingdom of Israel was here in the Americas. All right, they're responsible for race baiting pseudoscience, white superiority doctrines, while trying to play innocent and indifferent to white superiority. And these Amalekites are some of the main people that are behind it. Okay. So, but let me read that Isaiah 63 real quick. All right, and then I'm gonna finish, reading this article We get that. Because we got to bring out the scriptures too, you know. And this is Isaiah 63, 1 through 5. And it says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Basra, that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength? I that speak righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments are like him that trod at the wine vat?" All right, so he's, you know, so basically his garments are covered with the blood. That's what this is. This is a metaphor to. All right. It says, "I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there were none with me, and I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment." So he's comparing the Edomite race to grapes in a wine vat. All right. And this is who the world ignorantly calls a God in Jesus, which proves that he's not love, that he's not all love. He definitely hates the Amalekites, and he's coming back to annihilate them and put them in slavery for 1,000 years on top of that. All right. Remember, the Bible said, Revelation 18:6, they have to serve double that of which they gave. All right. It says, "And I would tread, and I looked." It says, "For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come." And who's being redeemed? Who's being bought? The Israelites, Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the scattered that are scattered among the heathen. This is not a black thing. That's them once again trying to control the narrative while trying to be indifferent to the white superiority and lies. That's why they always got to try to put black before Israelite. That's their doing. All right. But nevertheless, going back to the article, it says, "Destiny may have been a glorious destiny may have been yours if we had left you alone." But watch how proud Mr. Eli Ravage is. All right, this gentleman here. "But we did not leave you alone. We took you in the hand and pulled you down the beautiful and generous structure of that you had reared, and changed the whole course of your history. We conquered you as no empire of yours ever subjugated Africa or Asia." You notice it didn't say Europe, because they conquered Africa and Asia, and they divided Asia into 3 parts: Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. All right, same way they created that word anti-Sem. You know the word, in 1879, but the rabbi in the video tried to say that it was thousands of years old. All right. And we did it without armies, without bullets, without blood, without turmoil. Well, they just were basically funded and behind them. They didn't do it themselves in most cases. All right. "We did it solely by irresistible might of our spirit and with our ideas and with our propaganda." All right. "We made you the willing, unconscious bearers of our mission to the whole world, to barbarous races of the earth, the countless unborn generations. Without fully understanding what we were doing to you, you became the agents of our large and our racial tradition, carrying our gospel to the unexplored ends of the earth." And they brought white superiority, lies, all right, to the whole world. All right, with them at the head of it, all the time trying to play innocent, like they were just these victims of everything by everyone. So let's go to the video. All right, this is the We Woke Now video. Candace Owen counseled, all right, by the Crafty Council. All right, and the head of that Crafty Council turned on everyone that supported him. This is how you know that the hand of all the wicked shall be upon them. All right, but here we go. I'm going to start right about here and just let it play.
Now, you know, he's basically saying that it's and I'm going to get here, but it's generic. It's generic. They could continue to add, take, move, whatever they want to say about what anti-Semitic is. And we all know what the word mean, and I'll bring it up. I'll pull it up here in a sec. But the key is I want to focus on that mutation. But before I do so, Sister Carol, did you want to share anything?
Well, I just find it rather hilarious that he claims this word was created 2,000 years ago, when if you look the word up, of the history of the word when it was created in 1879 by a German man.
So see, they hijacked the name of Shem and created a whole new definition, a whole new world around it, and even put the definitions and try to make them the same. Because the Bible clearly tells you in Genesis, all right, there are 8 Shemitic races. It's not just one. It's not just 2. Because they'll say that, the Arabs, like the Palestinians, all right, and or the Ishmaelites is what they actually are, because Arab means mongrel, and the Arab is actually a mixture of the Elamites and the Ishmaelites together, all right. But Ishmael is a Shemite. Moab, who are the Chinese, are Shemites. Ammon, who are Ammon and Moab are the incestuous sons of righteous Lot. Okay, they're Shemite because Lot was Abraham's nephew. All right, Abram the Hebrew. Okay, he was a Hebrew because he was from Shem. All right, and then he had Isaac. Okay, and he had Ishmael. All these, so the Ishmaelites are Hebrew. Isaac is a Hebrew. Edom, the Edomites, who are the so-called white people, they're also Hebrews. They're also Shemitic. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, so his descendants, all right, are Israelites. They are also Hebrew, all right. And then you got to remember, Abraham had 6 sons with Keturah, all right. So there are many. The Elamites, the so-called Indians, are also Shemitic. All the people that came out of Shem's line, all right, are Shemitic people. So to be anti-Sem, you be anti half the world. And by getting around all these Shemitic people that were born of Shem, they narrowed it down to this newly created definition, all right, of the word that they use. I hate even saying the word because it puts you into an algorithm. All right, let me pull it up and just show it on the screen. And it's a working definition. All right, because I would highly, this video that's on the screen, I would highly suggest that you watch it from like the 46th minute until about the 57th minute. I haven't seen much beyond that, but that's when the crucial information comes out. But here I have the working definition. So meaning it's constantly changing to fit their narratives. All right. So definition 1, a definition that is chosen for an occasion that may not fully conform to the established authoritative definition. Definition number 2 is even more dangerous to everyone else. A definition being developed, a tentative definition can be tailored to create an authoritative definition. So they can just, it's a constant mutation that they can use to their benefit and pull it out when they need of a made up fictional race. All right. So here, check this out. Of anti-Sem, and includes useful examples of discriminatory anti-Israel acts. They cross the line into anti-Sem. All right. The IHRA, all right, definition is used by various agencies of federal government and by 30 governments around the world. Recommends the use for the European Council. All right. So they use this definition, and then you have this House Bill 1274. It says, while there can be no exhaustive definition of anti-Sem, as it can take many forms of international, H remembrance, alliance, the IHRA working definition, all right, has been essential definitional tool used to determine contemporary manifestations. So it can mutate and change to benefit their need, and not based in actual truth. The man's name was Shem. So they basically created this word and attached themselves to it and left everyone else out. All right. And so, like I said, in this video, he tried, the rabbi, tried to say that this was, almost 2,000 years old, that word, and that word is not, that's why that word is not in the Bible. It's not in the Torah. It's not in the Tanakh. It's not in the New Testament. It's not in the Apocrypha. It is not a part of the actual scriptures. All right. But yet is used as a weapon against anyone who, and you don't have to speak badly against them. You just point out a truth, because Candace Owens, and as much as I dislike her, she pointed out something that was actually righteous, and the wickedness of the, of the corn, with the C, corn industry. And the rabbi that's connected to it. And for pointing that out, she has now been officially canceled. All right. But the problem is that that's why they want to get rid of TikTok. The name stealers, the small hatters, these 1948ers, the world is waking up to them. And that's, and what's that old saying? Who's in control. All right, when is the people or the entity that you can't speak about. And you don't have to say degrading, harmful things. You just speak the truth. Actual history. Speak about who they are. Because prior to the 18th century, they, I know, around the 12th century, they admitted to being converts, the name stealers, from Khazari. And they got that name, the name stealers, from Moab, the so-called Chinese. All right? Because what they would do is they would hijack people on the road in Asia on the way to China and to learn everything about you and hijack you, take your goods and services, and then they would go sell them and get the money and the benefits from it. And then they would actually find out later that these weren't even the people that they were dealing with. The Chinese were the ones, Moab began to call Amalek the name stealers. All right? It's too much history and too much evidence pointing out exactly who these people are. All right? This being, as in the first, the first couple lessons that I did on this on this subject matter. And all these books and all this information was written by Jewish people. When the Psalms 64:8 says that their own tongue should fall upon themselves, I also have this book in front of me. And in this book, most of the information in this book came from Henry Ford. All right? Henry Ford, the Ford Motor Company. I have that book in my hand right now. So I got to go back into it as well. All right? And how and basically it goes back to how Amalek set up shop and basically took over the colonies and took over America and established themselves, even back then. They rule from the side. They don't like to be out in front. They put other people in places and they control them like puppets. And that's just, the God honest truth. So get a couple scriptures and get ready to end this. And literally one of my favorite scriptures, man. This is 2 Ezra 6:27. And it reads, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared." Call Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, Kwam Yasserala Shalom.